Well, let's begin.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
start.
our feedback moment. I'd like to thank you for having this time with me to think about the lesson yesterday that I observed your lesson yesterday. So thank you so much for again letting me be with you and follow you in your teaching. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
Good. You're anxious, you know. Today we have a war in soccer game. Usually not great, but it's okay. Everything's fine.
How about your lesson today with the fourth graders?
Yeah. Yeah. I was so I don't know. I think it was a great lesson. They work as expected, and a little bit more than I expected. But I think it worked. It was good.
Okay, and they were fine. They were okay.
Everything good.
Okay, yeah. So let's now think about the lesson yesterday.
Okay.
We observed yesterday. So just going back in time, from the top of your mind and your feelings.
Alright.
So what can you say about the lesson yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday before I started the lesson, I was thinking about the warm-up time because I had no idea if I should take the students out of the class to start a warm-up or if I should do this in the class. Maybe because of the behavior, I thought, maybe, I don't know. But I decided to take them out and it worked. I thought to create a story with the card, so they need to buy vegetables, so I don't have money. We change places and try to connect the function. Oh, what I do here? Oh, here I buy, here I take money, here, and try to connect this in a short story. And fourth, I need to improve this, so maybe you say, oh, I go to the supermarket, I go to the bank, things like that. So next time I'll try to do it there.
Sorry to interrupt you. And was it the first time you used this strategy? I mean, take students outside and tell a story, because you conducted the activity with your students through a storytelling moment. So was it the first time you used this technique, the storytelling technique?
I like to use storytelling. Every time I create a different story, some weird stories, some fantastic stories, just to try to bring something new to the class and play with maybe something that they already know, something we have just like a piada interna. And then I put in the stories, and I just try to bring create a good atmosphere.
So you mean that it met your expectations? This moment met.
Expectation. Yeah. Take them out. I used to do sometimes, but not on this, just like this, just like I did yesterday. So I bring them out just to do some activities, some different activities. Maybe if we don't need to use the board or use the TV to project something, I used to take them out and we do this, take the books and use in the hall or something like that, just to change places. But yesterday it was good. And we get back to the class. I show them a tank I can find, and I try to connect the idea of what they can find in the class. As we talked before, I think that I needed to give them a little bit more models, because when I asked them for participate, I think they kind of like be afraid of say something. You should call one time, 2 times, hey, again, you can say. I think it worked.
Yes, and definitely, when you give students models, I mean language models, they feel more comfortable, as you mentioned. Yeah, they know what they are doing or what they are expected to do, what kind of behaviors and language behaviors they are expected to produce in the classroom, definitely. And how did you wrap up? What can you tell me about the moment of wrapping up the lesson and the aims you had in mind?
Yeah, I really don't know how I did it yesterday, I think that we finished with the book, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yes, I have my notes here. Just towards the end of the lesson, you said you checked the answer.
Yeah.
So, my notes para verificar a resposta. O professor escreveu o modelo at the library, but at the bookshop.
Yeah.
So that was the end of the moment, the end of the lesson. So at the library, I borrow a book, an example, but at the bookshop, I buy a book. So you got from the student.
Because we're working with a difference. I said, what do I have? What is the difference between the bookshop and the library? What's the difference between the supermarket and the shop? Yes. And they work in pairs not pairs but trios. To do this activity, yes. I finished this.
And as you were monitoring this moment, can you say that if they were doing it in English, they were doing that in Portuguese or mixing English and Portuguese?
Yeah, those who are more comfortable with the English, they tried to use English language. But there are those students who always they wait for these specific students to start and then they follow these steps. And we have those who use Portuguese to try to speak or mix a little bit or using just single words. Book. Here, magazine, just single words.
Yes, and as you mentioned that, so again, when we use language models to students, as you mentioned, even those students who are not so confident with the use of English, as they have the model, they will only follow the model. Those students who are more proficient within the level, they will go beyond the model. Yes, so it is.
And I faced something that I remember that I wrote on the board, a model, and I asked the students, can I say the name? I asked, I think it was Giovanna, to complete the sentence. And while she was trying to answer, I thought, this sentence is too hard for me. So at that moment, I accept only she asked me to answer in just a single word. Because I felt this is a little bit higher or more than to give at that moment.
And that was a wise decision, because when we know our students, and as the lesson is such a dynamic body, we need to think and make decisions, on-the-spot decisions. Yeah, and you see, I wrote the model on the board, but you see, when we are working with the students, so we need to be open to check how much they can produce and still feel they can do that. Okay, and we shouldn't avoid frustration in the classroom. So if you have the model, well, there are moments when you have to make this decision. So we have the model. No, so let's break it. Let's break the model into smaller pieces, and then so come and say. So now, what do you think? Your idea. So have students with us. As you mentioned, if I were to select some aspects of your lesson that were wise and produce positive effects from the teaching perspective, so it's not my perspective, although that was my perspective as an observer, but thinking of the teaching process, well, was when you took students outside the classroom and asked them to move from one place to another, the place in town, because you were working, you were reviewing, helping students to consolidate places in town, and it took them. They followed the story, so the storytelling thing is something that students buy, especially at the age of fourth graders, because it develops curiosity. They are listening to a story. So, and now what comes next? So attention also promotes, brings fun, curiosity, develops, as I mentioned here, develops attention. So you see, and selective attention. So it somehow works with the prefrontal cortex here, and you see, students develop this part of the brain. So it's an activity when we and also inference, because you are telling this. What comes next? When you say, oh, I want to buy vegetables and fruits. But you see, I don't have any money. Where should I go? And the student said, oh, where should I go? No money. Okay, well, no money, but wants to buy vegetables, wants to buy fruits. Well, the only place that he can go is the bank. Yeah. So you see, it helps students infer this. So you see, thinking skills, lower order thinking skills mentioned, because you see, they have to remember vocabulary, they have to remember structures, grammar structures, linguistic structures, so the remembering activity, brain activity, understanding, because you see the context, so the pragmatics of the moment, and applying. Well, they have to move from one place to another. It's not, okay, I'm here listening, I remember what grocery is, I understand the situation, but you see, you made them apply.
Just saying your pain.
Yes, that's it. So that was something really positive, because you considered the premises and the resources available. So the school area and the resources, you have to picture cards, so in the columns, the pillars in the school. So what do you think of that, my dear?
I think that it worked. It worked. As I said to you, I was afraid because of the behavior. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not this specific class, but there are some that after this kind of activity, the behavior, they go crazy. When we go back to class, we usually take 5 minutes or a little more to get them, calm down, take it easy guys, let's go back to class. But it worked. With them it worked. And it was a good idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
I think that sometimes that we can use physical response. We can, I don't know, just make them move and they you know.
Yeah, and it's also like now returning to the bureau moment of our form, lesson observation form, the rubric, uso de recursos e material didático. And you may think that, but no books were used. You had the picture cards. So the school premise as a resource. So you see, uso de recursos. That's a resource you have. So the school area, the animals, so and the trees you have here. So that was a wise moment, wise use of resources, and even course books, materials, so materials you had. Also, if I were to think of another moment of your lesson that was, you see, wow, so that was good practice. was when you began your lesson before taking students. No, it was after taking students that you. It was before asking them to open the books that you used the picture cards and elicit the places in town, such as Toy Story. You explained the activity. You had the picture card supermarket, library, bus station, bank. So you reviewed this. You activated prior knowledge, students' prior knowledge. So, so just one question to you about this.
Okay.
So when you started the class by reviewing the 6 places using the picture cards, what did you observe in your students' response?
Yeah, in the previous lesson, so we did the lesson yesterday. So before yesterday, I used the picture cards for them to study, for us to review. I stick all of these picture cards on the board, so they looked, they memorized them. So when I bring it back, just to see if what we had at the day before, if they yes, they learned. Oh, they know what is this, and well, I showed them the picture cards, and they answered.
And how did sorry, dear, how did it contribute to the following activities in your lesson?
Yeah, it was I used the picture cards that I would bring to the outside. So I needed to remember what is this. So when I go outside, I say, oh, where should I have money? And they remember, we're in the bank. We have the bank. And they recognize what is the bank, where is the bank, the word, and things like this. And what do we do in the bank?
And again, as a teaching practice, the thing of activating prior knowledge, it's aligned with some pedagogical principles or theories referring back to Vygotsky, the zone of actual development, the zone of proximal development, and the potential development area. So when we begin, any kind of learning, any kind of teaching should consider where the learners are in terms of what they can do, what they can perform, what they can say, because this is how we learn things. We activate what we have, we make the connections, the synapses that are the existing synapses in the brain, the existing connections, so that we can make other connections and help the brain make other connections that will, at the end of the day, be translated into new learnings. That's it. So it's good practice for you to keep always in mind. So, new thing, I need to know what my students, I need to use what my students already can do, can perform, so that I can plan more challenging cognitive challenges to our students. And if you were to think now, tell me, oh, it didn't work, or it worked, but you would do differently in your lessons.
First, in this activity outside, make them give a response, give an answer before moving. Something that I tried to do this when they were at the bus station. The bus station was the fourth step. So we were at the supermarket, we go to the bank to the library, and the bus station. And then we go back to the supermarket. And at this moment, I thought they could say, we need to go to the supermarket. And I asked, I think that was 2 or 3 times, but I saw that it wasn't work. And then, let's go to the supermarket. And they go there. They went to the supermarket. But I think that I need to let them think before moving. Because later was thinking that some of them should be, or maybe, were moving because they saw the others moving.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah? I don't mind. Okay. So if they say, or maybe not in a core, maybe I spot someone, hey, you say, oh, you say. Just to see, to check if it is everybody's getting the idea. Yeah. And in the classroom, maybe try to incentivate, I don't know, try to ask them to use more English, to try more English. Yeah. Here we are using, and Rafael is using more of a phrase that is, oh, it's not wrong to make mistakes. So try to give this to the students, let them to try to use. I don't know this word. Oh, create a new one. Try to use. Yeah? Because they answered, they understood, okay, but we need to produce a little bit more. I think that in the 4th grade they need to produce a little bit more.
And it's something I do agree with you, because it's something that we can only assess what students have learned or have understood when we give them systematic models of language. And from my point of view yesterday, if I were to point out 1 or 2 areas for you to think when planning your lessons and when delivering your lessons, these two are the areas of linguagem do conteúdo. So as linguagem do conteúdo, if we were to refer back to our rubrics, utilizou e ensinou a língua essencial para que seus estudantes compreendessem e utilizassem conteúdo, incluindo vocabulário e funções gramaticais relevantes para a compreensão dos conceitos. Yes, you did. You did. But, again, as I mentioned, do it more systematically and observable for your students. So this is what I'm learning. Oh, I can find, such as yesterday. So I can find. So it becomes visible, audible to your students, and they can manipulate more with this bit of language.
Yeah.
So that's an area, and it's aligned with, Armando, with estratégias de linguagem. So when we have the content, the language content to teach, well, also have to think of the strategies to approach students, approach this new language to our students. So, proporcionou experiências linguísticas e suporte adequado que capacitaram os estudantes a participar eficazmente das atividades de aula? Yes, it did. But again, when we vary the strategies we use, well, the tendency is that the teaching gets more effective. We can reach more students. See, so that these are 2 areas that I would point out.
Okay.
And for example here, let me just get my notes as for this moment here. Just coming to the end of our meeting. But as for linguagem do conteúdo, I have here the modeling. So you model teacher, whole group. But you correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't ask him to repeat after you as a group. And also when you were teacher, student, for example, Ana Laura, what can we find in the zoo? So again, you use this strategy, teacher, student, but again, working on a complete sentence, do it more systematically, get 1 student, get 2 students. Ask 1 student to ask another if needed. So student. So that's a strategy that can be used for modelos de linguagem. Sentence completion, as you did on the board. It was in this lesson, though, I can find. Was in this lesson? Yeah, so I can find. So it's there. I can find at the. So now complete sentence. So if they complete the sentence, so sentence completion or sentence status, I can find. Now you complete. So another strategy, also some strategies that can be used to teach the linguagem do conteúdo. I mentioned here using substitution drills. Moment in your lesson to use substitution drills such as, I can find I can find animals at the zoo. I can find animals at the zoo. Elephants. I can find elephants at the zoo. Lions. I can find lions at the zoo. At the supermarket. I said, oh, no. So, I can find beans at the supermarket. Vegetables, I can find vegetables at the supermarket. So, see, substitution drills. The last activity, I know, there were some constraints in terms of the time you had, but for you to think later in your teaching is question and answer moments or open pair moments. So it was a question, where can we find?
Yeah.
It was in the book.
Yes.
And we can make it alive. You see? Ana Laura, acho que Pedro. Ask Pedro. Ana Laura, ask Pedro. So, Pedro, where can we find swings? Oh, Pedro? We can find swings in the playground. You see, so some strategies that can be used to make language alive and give students this support and confidence when manipulating the language.
And give them the chance to, that's it.
Yeah. And finishing here, my question is, when we consider that students were able to understand the story, struggle to produce the language on their own, okay, how could you bridge this gap? I gave you some examples, and what other things can you think now that could bridge this gap between recognition and production of language?
Yeah, I think that these examples you gave are good ideas. So, let them maybe between themselves, just not me asking, but they asking. I think that it's a way for them to produce. I think that this kind of drills you said, it's a good idea. I'm stealing all of your ideas right
but
now.
think about your practice. Yeah. So after listening to this amount of telling me so research, what do I already do to bridge the gap between recognition and production? My students can understand, but I do this or that so that they can produce language.
What I did.
What you usually do when you're teaching with your students.
So what I do, sometimes I ask them to repeat, but sometimes I have these students that they are a little bit better than the others. I don't know if better is the best word, but I used to call them to, ask to them, Vita, please, what's this? And Vita said, and I wait that my expectation is that the other students see some of them doing this, this is what I should do. And they do for themselves, they used to talk. And it's this. I leave on the board all of the vocab that we use, and I thought that it's important for them to use at the class. So every time, at this moment they said a new word. So I go to the board, I write there on the board so they can, when they are trying to speak, they can look, this word. I used to leave the chunk at the board also, so I just like I can find, and then I leave a space in blank. So they know that if there is a space, I need to use these words here. So I think there's some strategies. Sometimes it works. For the last few classes, it is working. So they can look, and they are waiting for this. They're waiting for the words at the side. They are waiting for the chunk. I need this. There are those who even I put this on the board, they still be afraid of using it. They know what they have to do.
Yeah. And you see, we won't, although this is what we aim at, but we won't reach 100% of our students at the same time. So maybe we reach 60 now, tomorrow we'll reach 70, those remaining 30 will be in 6 months' time. So, but we need to have the aims clear in our mind. Yes, as the learning aim, the learning goals, what you want in each lesson as learning outcome. So, well, now coming to the final moment of our meeting and having to design an action plan. Based on our talk, tell me if we can move in the following weeks to linguagem do conteúdo e estratégias de linguagem as the focus of your teaching, or if you can think of another area.
No, I think it's a good point. Sure, you need to work on this. Mm-hmm. I'm working. Today I had a class before starting here, and I did a little bit different.
How did you do it?
So I did just like a little bit, just like I did yesterday. So I take the picture cards right now, I put on the boards, and then I make just like a mind map with some keywords, and then I wrote a sentence on the boards, and I tell them, oh look, this sentence, look. And now we need to fill this space. How do we feel? And they looked and saw the words spread on the boards, and they did this. Yeah? They did this. They wrote on the notebook, and when I asked, they said, "Oh, I can't find milk in a toy shop." Yeah? And I wrote on the bottom of the can. The can't. I spoke to them. Because we are playing something just like a true and false. And so I understand, can we find car in the supermarket? No, I can't find car in the supermarket. So they use the can't.
Sorry, again. When about the can't, something you did yesterday that we should do it. It's use our body, and yesterday with the can't, so it was thumb down. So or even the hand. So
I think that we need to work on this. I think it's a good point for working to the next lessons.
Okay, so we'll think of strategies that can help you in your teaching.
Please.
Think of your teaching moment, and in 4 weeks, something which is doable to be done in 4 weeks, such as some notes here to give you. Week 1, so we need focus. Okay. So because you see, it's a development. It's not it's all over. It's a linguagem do conteúdo. Okay, but so many things that involve linguagem do conteúdo that we need to focus. So, example, week 1, foco na linguagem do conteúdo e modelagem. So that the modeling, vou apresentar a linguagem do conteúdo de forma clara, vou isolar, vou modelar com os alunos, vou utilizar modelos de frases, sentence starters, sentence completions, visual organizers, such as the mind map. It's a visual organizer. So that's the focus of week 1, among the many other things I have to think of when playing your lessons, but establishing a focus for playing. Okay, so we think of these moments within this time, and also some readings that can help you. Readings, views, some articles too. There is one, Armando, which is this is some quick strategies, which is the supportive language instruction. So 5 strategies for EFL, scaffolding EFL, English language learning students. So there are some ideas to help students activate prior knowledge and what scaffolding is, what it involves, such as you see modeling, think aloud, and you will find some examples too of a think aloud session. So give you example, the anticipation guides, think, pair, share. So now you think now you pair and then you share with your group, so give the students thinking time. And again, no rights or wrongs, so moments, so that we can help students think of and promote this learning. Anything you'd like to tell me in this is not, let's go this way and
No, I'm going to follow what you were saying. Try. If I say, oh, it's not working, I tell you, oh, it's not working, please help me. I think it's going to be good. So, the only thing that I thought yesterday was when I was using that long sentence, I thought maybe, and it was after our lecture yesterday. I was thinking maybe I'm waiting too much of them. I'm waiting to think about the dream, think about only the goal, and not what they can really give to me. And maybe thinking only in focus, maybe just only session of the Holy Spirit to say, let's work on this. It really connects the other. I think that's going to work a little bit more. Because I don't need to rush with them. Hey, let's work here. Oh, okay, it's okay. Let's move to the other.
yeah, because again, it has to do with what they can do at the moment. So where they are at the moment. It's the first year of implementation of the program, so students are still learning how to navigate in this sea of information in another language and behaviors that are expected. So once we have the aims clear, we are able to make the necessary adaptation to meet our students' needs, cognitive needs, affective needs, and you name it. Okay, that's it. So I'd like to thank you again. Okay, thank you.
I thank you.
Yeah.